morning, everybody. How are you? So I'm doing another retro react this morning. I just posted one having to do with the first part of Nader and Chantal's relationship. So I'm doing another one. And before we begin this one, a couple of things of note. So this retro react, is courtesy of the channel Meandering Thoughts. And the name of the video is called Foodie Beauty, My Story, Deleted Live Stream Highlights, Present Day, Truth or Lies. So this live stream has to do with her alleged SA and DV incidents with Nader. So anyone in my audience, if you've been through SA or DV, and any talk of SA or DV, if it might affect you negatively in some way, if it might trigger you, my advice is to not watch this react, because I certainly do not want to affect anybody in a negative way. There's a reason why I'm doing this retro react. And the reason is very simple, because I've been through both SA and DV. And Chantal, she talks about it to this day, what she allegedly went through. In my personal opinion, she hasn't gone through nearly half the things that she claims. In fact, she's probably been through very little. But during the time period when she was with Nader, she put across to everybody that she was going through some really horrible, traumatic things. At the same time, by her actions, proving that she really wasn't going through those things. She was just simply using the topics of SA and DV as money-making talking points, because there are people in her audience, they have been through those horrible things. And by talking about them on her channel during her live streams, she was able to trigger people in a profitable way for her, profiting off of other people's painful experiences to line her pockets. And I find that personally disgusting. Also, considering that a lot of things are missing off of her channel, those in her new audience, that whenever she puts across to them, I've been through some horrible things with Nader. This is a retro react for a reason. So those who don't know how far she'll go with her lies in order to paint herself the victim, you're about to find out. So again, anybody in my audience, if you've been through DV, SA, any mention of it, if it might trigger you, you might want to avoid this one. I do care about people in my audience, and I certainly do not want to upset you. Also, because of the nature of this video, I'm going to go off on her. So we might use some colorful language here and there. So before we get into that, though, there's something that I would like to show right off the bat, to show you just what a liar she is. And this is courtesy of the channel Queen of WTF, who captured this clip that Chantal did after making all of these claims, her confessing that she exaggerated the claims. So for those who haven't seen it, let's watch it again, shall we? Just for context. Just for context. Let me find it. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I made it public and I shouldn't have. I didn't lie for revenge, but
I lied. I didn't lie for revenge, but I lied. You know what's really disgusting? Anyone who's gone through DV or SA, a lot of times those cases don't get reported out of embarrassment or shame or fear, because you fear what will happen to you if the person who has hurt you comes after you. Or maybe the experience is so horrible, you don't want to get in a situation where you have to go to court and recount what happened to you in front of a bunch of strangers, because you're having a hard enough time dealing with it yourself. You don't want to tell your story in front of strangers and you're wondering, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? So Chantal made up all kinds of claims about Nader, claims of SA and DV. And for the record, the claim of SA, the night she claimed it happened, that was the threesome situation that happened with Didi and Nader. that later on she went on to say the only thing that she didn't like about that night was watching Dee Dee and Natter intimately together. Nothing else, just that. So she lied about the essay and she lied about the DV. That's right. But she's saying right here, I didn't lie for revenge, but listen, if the hurt is real, then the truth is also real. And the truth is all you need. If there is a wrong done, the truth is all you need to receive justice for that wrong if the wrong is severe enough. There is no but, period. Full stop. There is no but. There should be no but at the end of that sentence. She's trying to excuse what she did. I didn't lie for revenge, but so why did you lie? Because you wanted to intimidate Natter? You wanted to control Natter, threatening to go to the cops if he did not come to heel and do what you say or agree to see you? It would have seemed so.
I exaggerated it. I did.
Let's play that again. Fully. No stopping this time.
For revenge, but I made it public and I shouldn't have. I didn't lie for revenge, but I exaggerated it. I did.
Exactly. Wait, what? That was my reaction right there. Wait, what? What'd you just say? When you exaggerate something, you're not telling the whole truth. So again, there's her excusing her behavior, not acknowledging how wrong it is to exaggerate something like that. Who does that? Who lies about essay and DV? And not just to one person, but thousands of people, because that's how many were watching Chantal during this period, making huge claims against somebody in front of an audience with lots of people listening. And again, for the purpose of making money off people in her audience that would feel sympathy for what allegedly happened to her when nothing happened to her. And how I know this? Because I've been through both of those things. And there's no possible way you can go through that and then get in front of an audience of strangers and tell your story without a single visceral reaction, which she never did. She never had those things. But yeah, like exaggerating the claims, getting online night after night, giving more and more details, again, with no problem, none whatsoever. And where did she get the inspiration for these stories? Well, Chantal herself revealed where she got the inspiration. She revealed not too recently that she worked at a battered women's shelter. And the moment she revealed that, the light bulb went off in my head. She worked at a battered women's shelter. She probably heard the ladies talking their stories. And then many years later, she uses what she heard as content for her channel. But here's the problem. Somebody telling a story is one thing. But if you're not an actual victim, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle missing, like the visceral reactions, like getting upset while you're telling your story, like having trouble telling your story to just one person. See, those are the puzzle pieces that are missing here. That's what she can't fake. Because to react that way, you've really had to go through it. And she's never been through it. So because it's never been a true experience for her, she doesn't know how to properly fake it. So yeah, I'm calling her a fake and a phony. Exactly.
I exaggerated it. I did.
Yeah, her admitting I lied. And under normal circumstances, exaggerating claims, like I don't like Natter. He's got a criminal past. He's not a good guy. But even somebody who's not likable, that does have a criminal past, should they have somebody throwing those claims on the table when they never happened? Under normal circumstances with normal people, that's the kind of stuff that will ruin your life, ruin your job, take your job away from you. You know, that's something that sticks with you. She was doing it for the purpose of control and have topics of conversation because Chantal likes attention, and she was using that to get attention. But there you have it, folks. There you have it. Using a triggering topic and topics to get attention right there. In her own words, I exaggerated the claims. I didn't lie for revenge, but I lied. It doesn't matter the reason, whether it was control, manipulation, for the heck of it, you still lied. That is how far Chantal will go with her lies. So anybody going to the reaction channel saying we're a bunch of haters, we really have no reason to hate Chantal or dislike Chantal, there you go. There's a variety of reasons why we don't like her. This is one of them right here. Someone who will sink so low and crave control so much that they will make up the most deplorable lie about a person just to get control or to get revenge if they're not getting their way in something. But let's go on to the other video that I have here. Her telling her fake, phony DV essay story. I just want to play that one clip first. And I'm going to give my thoughts as we go.
Just saying really inappropriate sexual things that hurt my feelings, you know. Being really rough during sex, or I don't know, like little things like that, you know.
And yet, in the beginning, when her and Natter were seeing each other, she would come home with bruises on her chest, and she would brag about them. Look, everybody, I got bruises all over my chest. We had rough sex. Whoop-de-doo. Bragged about it. Let me tell you something. If things are abusive and somebody is doing something to you, where they're putting bruises on you, the way it usually goes, if you are a victim of DV and what has happened, it's not consensual. It's a situation where you feel shame and embarrassment and negativity looking at those bruises, and you do everything in the world to hide them. You don't show them off to anybody, much less thousands of people on YouTube. So on one hand, you want to brag about the bruises you got from Natter, and then when you're mad at him or you want to get back at him because he's not giving you attention or picking up the phone, you're going to do live streams like this to paint him in a negative light. And then later on, take it back once you guys are good again. All the constant flip-flopping. That's why a lot of her VIBs left, because it was just too much for them. It was overload. Like, here we are, we're worried about you, Chantal. According to you, you're around a very abusive person, and yet you're not staying away from them. You keep going back. And every time you go back, we're concerned for you. We're concerned for your welfare. We're concerned for your safety. And yet you keep going back when you don't have to. Because during this time period, it wasn't like Chantal lived with Natter and she had nowhere to go and he had control of her money. She lived at the villa. She had her own car. Every time she saw Natter, she had to physically go to his house because he didn't have a car. He couldn't drive. Every single occasion she spent around Natter was by choice. So if she didn't like him or if he was being abusive, she could have stayed away. Just don't go there. Block his phone number. Yeet his channel and be done with the whole thing. But she never was. And that's curious to me. her being supposedly an Aries and wrathful. Well, I would think I'd be especially wrathful to someone who is being abusive to me. I want them completely gone from my life and as far away from me as possible. She could have gotten rid of his channel. She never did. She never threw a strike at him. Privacy complaints. Didn't do any of that. She was just very content to get online and talk about him and turn that into content.
But I think like it was like he got mad at me like for something during sex, and it was like something really stupid that I didn't feel comfortable doing, like a position or something, and I don't know, anyway, and just like shoved me, like he like punched my arm or something. And then like I was like, what? Did he like actually like punch my arm? Like, really? And I was like, no, he didn't punch me. It was just like an accident. And that's what he like touted it off to be, kind of thing. Then like a few weeks.
And again, take note, she's telling this story of him being abusive. No visceral reaction. If you've gone through the experience of SA or DV, when you're telling the experience to another person, at the same time, you are in essence reliving it a little bit in your head. And you're having that outside visceral reaction. I'm not saying she has to break down in full on tears and shaking, but there is an emotional reaction to go with the memory if it was bad. And I'm not someone that I'm victim shaming. I'm not victim shaming Chantal because she was never a victim. I am shaming the fact that she was never a victim, but desperately trying to act like she's been a victim of DV and SA, and I think that's wrong.
Later, we did like, I bought like a ton of Coke, like, oh, another red flag. He would always fucking, everything is always my fault. Like, he would always blame me for like everything. Like, okay, like, for example, what I'm about to tell you. So I went over, I bought like 7 grams of Coke. And
that's another thing. So you're around someone that they're very high energy and they're very hyper without the Coca-Cola. They might have a temper. And if you are afraid of that person, why would you hype them up more? That doesn't make sense to me. If you are someone and you've been involved in a DV situation or relationship, knowing the other person might be a firecracker and moody, or you can't interpret their moods very well, and you're doing your best to stay out of the path of the hurricane, you don't feed the hurricane tons of dynamite and so they pop off. You do everything in your power to keep things as calm as possible. You will make sure to not lip off or say anything combative. You won't even make eye contact if you can. You control your energy. You know, like you feel them start to shift into that state where they're irritated, you will do what you can to diffuse it or keep it to a certain level. So here's this person, Natter, who is explosive, who does have a bit of a temper. He says hot-headed is foodie, and she's going to give a bunch of Coca-Cola? Does that sound like a smart thing to do?
We did like several grams by then. And he, like, oh my God, he just became like a different person. Like, his eyes just became like black. Like, I did not recognize him at all. Like, he was so like on edge and just like, you know, like, and I was like really like, I apparently was like doing things to piss him off. I thought I was just sitting there. But he kept accusing me of doing things to piss him off. So
another thing of note, So Foodie confessed a while ago that she liked to fight with Natter. She liked that drama energy. And then she liked the making up afterwards. She also said that nice guys bore her because there's no excitement. Foodie is a bit of a toxic thrill seeker. You know, the more challenging, the more thrill seeking, the better. But she's been in a string of relationships with very calm men, like Bibi, like Pete, like Salah. And it doesn't take any time at all for her to get bored with those men. But Natter she got addicted to because he was the complete opposite. But she does like that combative, turbulent energy, and she feeds into it. She likes to see how far she can push the line back.
Like, became somebody else. He would always say things like, don't let me do more than a few lines. I'm telling you, if you do, you know, I know I'm bad on coke or whatever. But I feel like I'm not responsible for you. Like, you know? So he would make me feel bad that I made, like, that he did too much coke, like it would be my fault. You know what I mean? So he started getting, like, really, like, he was like, I don't know, we were like, he plays this stupid fucking gambling game. So I sent him money, like, for us to play. And he, like, lost a whole bunch of money, and just, like, he was getting so fucking mad and, like, nasty and just, like, in my face, like, really close. And I thought, like, oh my God, is he gonna hit me? And then we went upstairs and we had sex. And then I was like, I want to go home. And that's when that just, like, fucking made him flip out. Like,
and again, like, she's the one paying for all kinds of stuff. He's doing the Coca-Cola. She's the one buying it. If she spends hours and hours of conversation with this man, talking to him, being around him, you know, she can feel out his mood. And if she knows that by him doing too much Coca-Cola, he's going to get too hyped up and angry, why buy him that stuff at all? Why buy him too much? Why give him too much? Like, you are lighting the pile of dynamite, Chantal. And then once the pile of dynamite gets lit and it explodes, then you're going to say, oh my God. No one has the right to cause harm to anyone, no matter what the circumstances, whether it's with party favors or not. Nobody has the right to do SA or DV on anybody. Everybody should keep their hands to themselves. But if you're in a party situation, you've got a party buddy, and you know they're already hyper, and then you supercharge them, you know, like, you know what that's going to lead to. Why get it started in the first place? Just don't buy them party favors. Don't overload their system. But she did. And another component that I want to add in here. So during this time period, Chantal claimed that he was physically abusive. Now, Chantal likes to slant everything in her direction, painting half a picture of, this is what he did to me. But there's another half missing. And no, I'm not taking up for Natter. I'm just saying there's her side, there's his side, and then there's in the middle, where the truth usually is. So if he is feeling combative, if he's being verbally abusive, if he is off the rails, what is she doing? Is she just standing there? Is she just being quiet? That's not Foodie's personality. She has confessed herself that she is verbally abusive. She said that many times, and I believe her. But there's also the potential that she might have been physically abusive as well, because she's got a temper too. So I believe that there are large parts of this story and many of her stories that are missing. Like, he did his part, but what was her part? We weren't in the room to see or hear what was going on, so she can make up any lies she wants to. But if somebody is getting hyped up, why wouldn't you leave? Why wouldn't you say, I'm going to leave now? I'm making you angry. It's time to go home. That's the way it should go. If you're around a situation that looks potentially dangerous, you're getting that feel that they're getting aggressive. It's time to go. Why not go?
He was like, he just like got up and was like just like the, it's like his eyes, like the eyes were like black, and he was just like, I don't know, like he was gone. So, you know, this pissed me off. Why do you do it? You must be doing it on purpose. You know it pissed me off. You know it hurts me. I told you not to piss me off. You don't listen, like just flipping out. And then all of a sudden, I just felt like something like he grabbed my face really hard and was like pinching it. And I didn't know like what to do. Like I was like scared. And then he like flicked his cigarette at me. And then like I felt like something like hard in my face. I didn't see him hit me, but I feel like punched me in the arms a bunch of times. And he was so mean. Like I just remember like, you fucking punched me. And he's like, yeah, a few times. I was just like, does it make you feel big to hit a woman and all this shit?
You know, if I had been in that situation where somebody's getting combative and aggressive, if they've got the black-eyed rage, it's time to shut up. It's time to go quiet and not do anything to push that person past that point. Just ease down. If the other person's getting hyped up, it's time to ease down and do what you can to keep it from escalating even worse. Not Fraudy. She is continuing to be combative. And I'm not saying that is the perfect reason for Natter to strike her or hit her. Even if she's yelling and screaming, he still doesn't have a right. But she's talking about some black-eyed rage. If that were real, if that happened, that should have given her a moment to pause and say, whoa, whoa. Like he's at his limit. I need to back up. I need to back away. I need to get quiet. Whoa. It's really strange how she's seeing these things allegedly, but not reacting in a way where she's realizing the danger she might be in and backing away and easing back. She continues to push forward.
And then like he wouldn't let me leave. So
right. So she's saying that Natter would not let her leave during this night. She could have put him in jail for false imprisonment. And considering his previous criminal record, he would have gone to jail. So why didn't she?
I just figure I'm just going to like play along, and he hid my phone. So I actually like snuck out when he fell asleep, and I left my phone there. And I came home. I used Pizza's phone. I said I need to message my mom. I messaged my mom. So that was that big fight. And I don't think that to this day I'm over it, because
you know, I'm just going to put my feelings on the table here. I think Natter didn't like Chantal spending the night. In fact, there were many instances during that time period. Chantal would go over to Natter's house fully loaded with party favors and with liquor. And she would purposely get so messed up that he could not send her home. Like he just wanted to party with her and get some free party favors and get high for free and then send her home. But she would make sure that he couldn't do that. So because she was too messed up to drive, he couldn't send her home. And in her eyes, that was her getting extra time with Natter. but he never wanted her to stay longer than she had to. She was always trying to manipulate the situation to where she could stay longer. So maybe this night that she's talking about, he wanted her to go. And she's just making up this whole story of him hiding her phone and he didn't want her to go. I'm sure he did. She just didn't want to go. She's the clingy, insecure one that didn't want to be away from him. She never wanted to go home. She didn't want to spend time at the villa by herself.
Like, I hate to say, like you guys are right about, like, whenever, like, he would playfully smack me, it would make me flinch, or
there was a live stream that Chantal did, the CPAP rescue stream, which has gone off her channel. She made a big doggone deal about her CPAP machine and how her CPAP machine was over at Natter's place. Now, a CPAP machine is a serious medical device she needs for her breathing, but Chantal had 2 of them. She took one in Natter's place. She had one in her house, so she wasn't without her CPAP machine. But one night she made a big doggone deal about, I have to go get my CPAP machine. And she went over there during a live stream with the live stream running. And remember, she claims that Nader was an abusive person, a combative, violent person. And she had her phone on when she went to his door and she was literally screaming in his face about her CPAP machine. And Nader offered to give it to her. He's like, I'll bring your stuff to the door. I'll give you your stuff, but you're not coming in, because she really wanted to get in that house and stay there or look around to see if Dee Dee was there. There were many times that she went over to his place saying she wanted her stuff back, but she didn't want her stuff back. She just wanted an excuse to see Nader. But imagine being someone that you are a true victim of DV or even SA and screaming in your abuser's face. Nobody would do that. If somebody has really hurt you, you're afraid of them. You want to put as much distance between yourself and them as possible. And yet she felt brave enough to do that. Also, even after said DVSA allegations, she met up with Nader in motel and hotel rooms, alone. No one else there, just the 2 of them. She was completely relaxed, not a worry in the world. I can't think of a single person that I know that has been through that kind of trauma that would be very comfortable spending time with the person that has abused them. But Chantal could.
I don't know. I feel really weird. I feel really fucking dizzy. The worst part is that he blamed it on me after. Like, he blamed it on me. Like, he was like, why did you hurt me? Why did you make me hurt you, kind of thing. Like, why did you, just like classic textbook lines. And I'm just like, is this like real? This can't be real. Like, blaming it on the coke. And yes, the coke has been bad. He actually hasn't hit me since then, but we have had really bad fights where there has been aggression. Like, there's still a lot of signs of aggression, and that's why I stay away sometimes. Like, if you're like, why aren't you at Dom's? Because I don't want to be around when I know he's going to be mad. Like, he'll get mad, like, if I...
So, according to you, he grabbed your face. He flicked a cigarette at you. You've seen this black-eyed rage, and yet you went back when you didn't have to. When you did not have to. You didn't have to. You know, you like to quote stats to defend yourself. You, a supposed victim when you're not a real victim, you like to quote stats. You like to use the stat of it takes between 8 out of 10 times for a DV victim to stay away from their partner. Well, that's because in most cases, Chantal, whoever the victim is, they have nowhere else to go. They have no money. They have no safe place to be. Or they're simply terrified at the person that has hurt them finding them and what would happen if they did find them. But they have no resources at their disposal to get away and stay away. Your case is different. A, because the abuse never happened. I can look into your eyes and tell you've never been through it. B, you had a home, car, job, plenty of space between the two of you, and you chose to go back. I also want to point out something interesting here. There were 2 abusive relationships going on at this time. One true abusive relationship and one fake and phony. The fake and phony one was between Nader and Chantal. The real one, the real abusive, toxic relationship was between Chantal and her own VIBs. That's right, her and her VIBs. Because Chantal is verbally abusive, and during this time period, she was being abusive to her own viewers. And how was she doing that? Because she would be verbally abusive to her own members, humiliating them, embarrassing them, calling them out, being combative, threatening to block people, intimidating people, embarrassing them on her community posts. She would act badly, make people scared to even open their mouth. She would go days acting like this. And then when everybody was at their end of their rope with Chantal, she would turn around and, I'm so sorry, I acted like that, I'm a jerk, try to smooth things over. And people would forgive her because they care about her. And then she would go right back to that abusive behavior. What is that if not an abusive relationship? Because that's what abusers do. They rip the skin off your bones. They rip you to pieces. Then come at you with the love bombing and put you back together just to rip you apart again. So there was the fake, phony victim relationship going on one side and the real abusive relationship on the other side. And that's why a lot of her VIBs left. They had their fill and they left because they were tired of being abused.
Change plans. Like if I say, I'm not feeling good, oh, you were supposed to help me with this. Like he just really, I feel like he just cares about himself. And yeah, he was like aggressive here. I think that's why he never kicked BBJ, but I think that's why BBJ is afraid, because he's more, like he has anger problems. So he does have a really good side. You guys seen that in his cooking videos. Like I fell in love with a side of him that was good, It
doesn't matter about his cooking. What matters is his attitude towards you. So his good side was his cooking, but with you, it's not so good. So why be around that person again if he's going to act like that?
But I'm just realizing that maybe I do have some kind of like I feel like I have some like trauma from everything that happened that I haven't processed.
And so Meandering Thoughts says, if true, the trauma will always be there and only the right therapist can make you learn to live with it. Plus, over time, the abuse will get worse, which means more trauma. And that is also true. If you are around an abusive person and they abuse you and then you forgive them, in their mind, they know they can get away with it. And the next time, the line might get pushed back even further. And the next time after that, it'll get pushed back even further. And if it goes too far, something serious might happen. But again, going back to her VIBs, that's what she did with her VIBs. Just constantly verbally abusing her VIBs, and they would forgive her. And then she would feel more bold to heap more humiliation, more embarrassment, more abuse upon them. And every time they put up with it and they forgave her, she was secretly laughing at them in her head, thinking, ha ha, these idiots. I can totally kick at them and they'll just take it, because they did, until they didn't.
Maybe I'm like telling it because I know I need to just end everything and just be on my own and focus on myself, because I feel like this is going to kill me. Like the stress, like my breathing and like the chest pain has just been like worse and worse these past few months. And I just, like, get so mad over it. Like, just even like made breakfast. Was it yesterday morning? I was on the couch and I wasn't like paying attention to him for like 5 minutes. And he was like fucking like mad pacing. Like he paces around when he's mad. And he was like, I made this breakfast for you. You're not like, I do things for us. You do things for you. And I'm like, I was checking my messages for like 5 minutes. Like I don't have a breath. Like even like if I'm on my phone, like what are you doing on your phone? Like I just feel like, do you know what I mean? Like I've never felt like, I feel like a stressful response in my body around. And be done before it's too late. Yeah. I have to be done. I probably didn't do this the right way, but I don't feel like I can do it face to face. Oh, and I guess I just got comfortable. Like he made me feel comfortable, said the really, really good things. Like I posted on my Instagram, would say things like, no man will accept you. So it's just been like stress. And yeah, like money, like not funny, but like someone was even like, somebody close I talked, like Ulysses is like, you're eating no-name chips. Like, like, you know, like, yeah, it's been just like emotionally and like financially, oh my God, so draining. And I just like, for what, you know?
I'm kind of confused by something she said. Like on one breath, she said it's so relaxing. And then she just goes on to say everything was so stressful all the time because he was on edge all the time. Like the hyper energy, the pacing and all of that. Like, so which is it? Was it relaxing or was it stressful? Because I don't think I could relax around somebody that hyper and that just volatile. You know, people put out different energy, and something with volatile energy, how can you relax around that ever?
I just feel bad because, yeah, like then I'm like, you made me do that. Yeah. Like, fuck you. I made you what? Anyway. Yeah, like he'll I'm sure he'll still have fans and stuff. He can make his own channel. Um and it's not that I want to like screw him over or leave him fucked. And that's why I always just And just like yesterday, I was like so like in love, like sure I was so in love with him and everything, but like I get after a couple days, I just get so burnt out.
No, he gets burnt out. You don't ever want to leave. And can I just say something? All of her stories about the DV and the essay and all the things that happened between them, Chantal's problem is that she looks at people as investments. You know, she throws her money down on the table. She buys that person their groceries and pays their rent and pays the phone bill and buys them a new iPhone and a new iPad, takes them to trips to Montreal and expensive 5-star hotels. Every time she spends money on a person, to her, that's an investment. And after a while of making investments, that person belongs to her. So every time she spends money on a guy, she feels like she's buying a piece of them. And you can't buy people, Chantal. And if a relationship is toxic, if it's abusive, no matter how little or how much money you spend on a person, at what point do you say, this is too much? I got to think of me. And I don't care what I have to leave behind. I don't care how much money I've spent on this individual. I'm just going to cut my losses and go. But she never did. No matter how many arguments they had, she was determined to hang on to what she felt belonged to her. So no matter how bad it got, she was determined to hang on to Natter. And the only thing that stopped her from obsessing over Natter physically was the fact that he moved in with Dee Dee. Had he stayed in Gatineau at the crack house, she'd been going to his house every day. And the whole thing with Salah was to get back at Natter and possibly get Natter back, although it didn't work.
Being around him, like burnt out, like mental breakdown. Like I woke up at like, I woke up like this morning at like, we went to bed at like 3. Yeah.
Like if you were in a truly toxic, abusive relationship, you will walk away with nothing if it means you get to keep your life. Because material things, you can buy those again, but you can't replace your life.
And he woke up at like 5:30, coughing. Like every time he coughed, I wanted to punch him. Sorry, I had to get that out there. But anyway, so he goes to the bathroom. And then just like not like considerate about things like that. Like, you know, like if it annoys me, he'll do it more. Like I fucking hate that shit. Like one time we were like playing around, but he was like getting really like rough playing. Like he would like, he knows I'm claustrophobic, so he would like headlock me or like restrain me. And I was like, let go. I'm like, seriously, let go. I'm going to flip out. Like stuff like that. Like, oh, I don't know. He has like I don't know. Anyways, he has a really fun side too. And that's why I pretended to lose the wall.
Like I just can't see Natter and Chantal having fun together. Because what we have here, folks, are two people who are too much alike in certain ways, the wrong ways. They're both very volatile, hot-headed, abusive people that really don't enjoy each other's company. I mean, arguments are bound to happen. Bad energy is bound to show itself.
All it and everything because like he like yelled at me like that morning for something that I was gonna give the rent money to him, and I was like, you know what, fuck you. So I went home and I'm like, I lost my wallet. So yeah, I'm a bit annoyed that, you know, it's hard for me to feel happy, like I said, for his success, because I know that Do you know what I mean? When I know that, like, how I still feel about everything.
And that's the control freak in Chantal. So let's recap. She met up with Natter. She barely knew Natter. Yet, if there were any hints of his abusive nature or behavior, she chose to put him on YouTube and expose him to an audience of more people. She chose to do that for the sake of having control and keeping him close. She gave him the public platform. She created it for him. Now here she is saying she really did not want him to be successful at all. She doesn't want her partners to be independent of her. And there's any possibility that if they have independence, if they can make their own money, then by them doing so, she'll lose control. So in that way, she is also abusive. I want to introduce you to YouTube and give you a platform so I'll have control of you, but I don't want you to be too successful because then I'll lose control. That's abusive behavior. Completely abusive behavior. I want to always have my thumb on you, have my foot on your neck so that you can never get away from me. That's an abusive person. And there were many things that she did during the Natter era where she would get jealous, insecure, angry, and it was almost her way of making sure he did not get too many viewers or too much money. You know, like, I'm going to get mad at you and I'm going to say awful things about you so that your channel is not as successful as it could be. What I gave to you, I can take back. When it suits me, I can punish you. And she did. Often.
So it's not only, yeah, I guess it's a weird reason, but it's also just because I'm like, I feel like if I say it, then there's no going back. Because I know it'll destroy my life if I do this. Do you know what I mean? We could see you were scared you were going to say something wrong when he was on the bed. Yeah, like it's like always on eggshell because he gets really mad. Yeah, like one time I have to wait till he goes to bed to like sneak out like every time, and like
I doubt that. I seriously doubt that. I just, Natter doesn't care enough about Chantal to want her to stay. I just can't see it in him. I never saw it. That he loved Chantal so much that he just could not do without her company. He was always willing to kick her out the door, not in a physical sense, but figuratively. He wanted her, he would have been happy if she just dropped off the groceries, dropped off the booze, dropped off the party favors, and left. But he had to deal with her to get those things. It was Chantal that didn't want to go home and always making excuses and finding ways to stay there and overstaying her welcome.
one time I was like going and then I was down at almost at my car and he's like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Oh my God." And I actually went back in. Like I was like, anyway, disconnect your other phone. I'll let him back in my life. And even up until this point, I was thinking about it. Maybe if we get a house together, because he was sending me links for houses.
Okay, so she just got through telling us how abusive he is. And she's thinking about getting a house with this dude? Why would you do that to an abusive person? Why would you want to get a house with them? See, this doesn't make sense to me. The math ain't mathin'. Parts of her story are not making sense here. You're around someone that's volatile, that can blow up at any minute, especially when they're on the party favors. And you're even considering getting a house with this individual?
This wants to hurry and move in together. Unicorn.
No, you want to move in together because you want to keep an eye on him.
And bacon. All abusers have a good side. That's how they charm us. Back and again and again. It will just keep getting worse. I've been here and he's now in jail. And I don't want to, I haven't like told anything because I don't want to ruin. He's just been like, why would you do this to me? Blast everything online. Like to this day, he's never apologized for what he did.
I don't think he did anything. I mean, I can see the two of them getting in very heated arguments, screaming matches, and things being said. I can see that easily between the two of them because they're both hotheads. But I don't think anything physical happened. Or not to the extent that she's claiming. And she just said in that one clip, I exaggerated the claims. If somebody has been really hurtful to you, why do you need to exaggerate anything? I mean, that's how far she'll go when she wants to try to control somebody. She will threaten them with jail time. Everything you've been through, my big toe.
Why would you ever go back to that? He's preying on your insecurities. Not love. He's a classic abuser. It's never their fault. Thank you, EP. Trust your gut. Thanks, Jen. Flesh and Exist. You're a YouTuber. Your life is online. It's not his business what you said. I like Bugs. Block his number right now. Thank you. Yeah, Annie, he did. If you move in with him, it's over, and I think you know that. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
you know, if you're around someone and you're considering moving in with them, living alone is one dynamic. Living with another person, even somebody you like a best friend or a brother or whoever, when you live with somebody, the dynamic changes. You have to be aware of other people's privacy, other people's personal space. Now, if you're around a person, no matter who it is, and there's volatile energy, and you can't stand to be around each other for more than a couple of days, you have no business moving in with them. Because once you live with them like full time, you can't get away from each other. So why would you even think of moving in with Natter if he doesn't like you?
Yeah, I had a burn from the cigarette. I had a nosebleed. He says he doesn't remember, or that he's a different person on coke. Why would you let me do that much coke? You know how it changes me.
I can answer that question. Possibly. Speculation here, strictly speculation. Chantal, during that time, she was into taking heavy amounts of edibles. Heavy amounts. We're talking ridiculous amounts. We're talking 1,000, 2,000 milligrams at a time. That's a lot. For comparison, I have a close friend named Jim who suffers from constant migraines. He never is without a migraine headache. To manage the migraine pain, he'll take 10, 20 milligrams in the morning, and then before bed, another 10, 20 milligrams. You know, light amounts. Chantal was taking 2,000 milligrams, 3,000 milligrams at a time. And she liked edibles so much that she was trying to get Natter to do edibles. And when he asked her, why do you want me to take these stupid things? Like, why are you always trying to get me to take this stuff? And she said, because I want to take advantage of you. So it would stand to reason, the reason why she was bringing over so many party favors, so much Coca-Cola, was that she was hoping that once he got all liquored up or party favored up, that he would get sexually physical with her and give her some. She wanted to take advantage of him. So who's the victim again?
And like, actually got in a car accident. I was driving with him and I was bawling, distraught, because that was the day he was here and he was being really aggressive. No, actually, like, I was driving him back home. Like, I'm like, let's go right now.
So it wasn't enough that he was aggressive and volatile at his house. You brought him back to the villa where your pets were, where your roommate was. Was that a wise decision? And there was an incident where he potentially hurt BBJ. There was an incident of him kicking at BBJ to the point where BBJ was scared of him. You brought this volatile man around your roommate and your pets, even after him intimidating you. Again, why would a victim do that? Why would a victim of DV or SA bring their abuser into their personal space where they live?
Like, I just ran out of my house. He was like raging around, and then he got in the car and he's like, I'm not going home. I'm like, you're going home. I'm like, I'm going to call the cops. And that's when he made that comment about call the cops. I want to see you call the cops. And like, that's when he made that comment. And then, yeah, so I was bawling because he was like being a fucking asshole. Like, and he was like, where's the lighter? And I was like looking at my push for the lighter, and then like the car ahead of me, I didn't stop in time, and I hit her. And I was bawling, and she must have felt bad for me. And she was like, it's okay. And I think I went in with him, and he wouldn't get out of my car. So I went in the house. Yeah, like black, like seething, like anger, like right in your face. And like, I have a thing with men yelling, and he knows that. Like, if my dad would yell a lot at me, or, you know, like I've had men like in my life that were like, there are like naked video, like there are sex videos, because I caught him like recording without me knowing about it once. So I just kind of like, well, it's kind of sexy, you know. He's like, I'll delete them right now if you want. Like, he acts like, you know what I mean? But
this is just my speculation. Okay? Speculation only here. There were many occasions where Chantal, she would pack her overnight bag and she would have her sexy lingerie and stuff in there. So I'm not sure if these videos were done with or without her consent. But everything I saw in the past, it looks like she maybe might have been doing things within her consent, because I just can't see how Natter would film her at that time without her knowing. It wasn't like he had like secret cameras in the house. How could he film her without her knowing? And now she's saying, oh, it's kind of sexy, which kind of points in the direction that it was maybe consensual.
I don't know. Wanderlust, dude, you tell us the shit and then you'll parade him around like a prize dog who understands you. I know what you mean, but no, I know what I have to do. Like, just realizing like this morning how I just wanted to. Why are you telling now? Because his channel is taking off. Yeah, because.
So this is her way of punishing him. She's mad because she created a channel for him, using it as a form of getting more extra time with Natter and to control him. And now that his channel is getting more subscribers, she's jealous, she's angry, she's intimidated. And so she's going to get online and tell this story about Natter as a way to kind of like push down the success, keep him at a certain level so that she has an element of control. Like, I brought you on YouTube because I want us both to be on YouTube. I wanted to do kind of like content together. I don't want you doing content by yourself and getting successful if there's a chance that you might be able to get out from under my control and get away from me. I mean, she did have that live stream, which I've showed you guys, where she was in Natter's bedroom, wrapped in a sheet. And somebody asked her outright, have you ever thought about Natter going with another woman? And she said, I think about that all the time. And then she said, I've got a plan. I'm not as stupid as you guys think. Trust. Something about an Aries. Those were her words verbatim. So she already had a plan in her mind that if he tried to get away from her and get out from under her control, or to be with another woman, which would have been like, that's a cardinal sin in her eyes. She had a plan in place already before it happened. When she said that, I knew what she was going to do. She was going to use his criminal past against him and threaten him with some kind of legal action. And that's exactly what she did. There was one live stream after that where she was in an absolute frenzy because Dee Dee had been at Natter's place for months and would not leave. In my opinion, I think Natter was using Dee Dee's presence at the house to keep Chantal away, and she just couldn't stand it. She wasn't getting her Natter fix. So during a live stream, she made a big spectacle of allegedly going to the police station, although all she did was go to a building, park the car, get out, disappear for a while, and then come back. There was no footage of her talking to a police officer, so she could have made the whole thing up for attention. But the threat was there. She was probably hoping that Dee Dee would have gone back home to Montreal and Natter would be by himself, and out of fear, he would invite her back over. But every time she did something like that, that just made Natter more resolute to not have her around because she's just too much to handle.
I don't feel like helping him. No, I don't. I just feel like after everything I've been through, like my body is like starting to physically reject this relationship, and I just can't pretend anymore.
But then you also made the comment, Chantal, that you said on a video, I am addicted to this man. You said that. I'm addicted to this man. So unless you're in recovery for a certain addiction, you want your fix, don't you? And I am not making fun of anybody who's an addict of anything, addiction. It's your own personal hell. And I pray that anyone who's got an obsession or an addiction, you find your way out, you reach for resources and people that can help you. If you have a problem and it's over your head, certainly do reach out. But she's got many different addictions. She's in recovery for none of them. But she did say about Natter, I am addicted to this man. And she's had him on the back burner ever since. But if you're an addict, you want what you want. You want what you're addicted to. You want your fix. So if you're an addict and you have an addiction and you're not in recovery, how can you possibly beat the addiction? How can you get away from it? You can't.
BBJ always knows when you need love. She's your familiar. Thank you. Get a restraining order. This is how you're breaking up. He's probably pissed. I know, but I can't like do it to him because he just has a way to like, I don't know. I can't explain it.
No, it would have been so simple. Just stop talking to him, block his number, stop giving him money, stop paying his bills. The end. That's it. It's not like the two of you live together and you got to tiptoe quietly around him because you're in the same space. It would have been just that quick. Would have taken all of a day. Just block his number. He doesn't have a car. He can't come see you. The money that he gets from you, so he can't even like take his money and take an Uber to your house. He's not going to break into your house. He's got a criminal past. It would have taken all of a day, less than a day, to just sever all contact. The thing is, you didn't want to, because without Natter, you had no excitement in your life. Well, that was the wrong kind of excitement. Toxicity is not real excitement.
I've never like been with somebody who made me feel this way.
Feel what way?
I know I have to end it. And have you ever loved him like you? No, not like BB. It's not the same. If she wasn't lying about what, Heather Marie?
So big question, Chantal. If a volatile, toxic guy doesn't make you happy, and a calm, relaxed guy doesn't make you happy, what will make you happy? You want too much from people. You want way too much. You expect too much. You expect whatever man is in your life to come along with a magic wand that can wave the wand above your head like the fairy godmother and fix all of your inside problems and your outside problems, to be your pillar of strength, to have enough strength so you can lean on them all the time, to be there for you all the time, although at the same time that bores you. You want too much. You steal all of the oxygen out of the room. You don't let anybody else breathe but you. That's why nothing ever works. You want too much. You don't let the other person live. And if they try to live, you get resentful of them living and breathing without your help.
No, but he did. Yeah, I mean, it did do. It's infatuation, like a strong infatuation, and just like a.
Okay, so Meandering Thought says, it's, if true, it's not love. That's correct, because love is healthy. Love is nurturing. Love is understanding. It is compassionate. It's something positive, not a negative. It's a trauma bond. Yeah, but what trauma do they share between them? Like, really, what trauma does Natter and Chantal share between them? None. The feelings are much stronger than love. Fear, desperation, hopelessness, and the trauma bond gets stronger every time abuse happens. So I guess they're fight bonding. Like they have fights and arguments and they make up, and that's the way they're bonding. That's not a good bonding. That's not how you bond with people. You're going to bond over shared party favors and partying together. That's not a solid bond.
Familiarity and like we are very loving with each other, but like he's just very controlling, possessive,
and so are you.
I guess abusive. I mean, that's what it is, but he doesn't take accountability for it. Like,
and neither do you. You guys are, like I say, you guys are too much alike in the wrong ways, and that's why you clash so much. Because if one person is strong in some things, then the other person's got to bend. And neither one of you wanted to bend. You're both just, I'm the dominant one here, I'm the alpha, and I'm in control. That's why you guys butted heads. And it was toxic.
he doesn't take, like, he doesn't never apologize. He, like, always blames me for everything when his anger, you know?
I honestly feel that Natter is Chantal's reflection of herself. Every negative trait that she names about him also applies to her. So Natter, although they don't share the same physical shape, he is her in male form as far as the personality. The things she doesn't like about him are her. So by her not liking him, she doesn't really like herself. She doesn't like that reflection.
He's so obsessed, like, driving me nuts with the YouTube stuff. Just, like, really obsessed with, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel right. I just have a bad feeling like I've made some bad choices about going about everything. I feel good. I feel better just like talking about He's on a high from his views and comments, yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't think he's still on drugs. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he acts weird. Maybe he's on something, but I can't prove it, right? So he'll say,
How do you not know he's on party favors when you're the one buying them? There wasn't a single instance where you and Natter hung out that you guys weren't on something. And since he wasn't working, who was buying those party favors? So how could you not know what he's doing?
they know, but like the way he acts, I can kind of tell. I haven't at all. I wasn't lying about that. But at least the cocaine and stuff, and never meth. I only tried that once.
Yeah, that's something that maybe the new VIBs don't know. So one of the first occasions where Chantal spent time around Natter, somebody left at his house a leftover used mouth pipe, and she smoked out of it, not knowing who had it before, if they had any contagious diseases. She smoked out of it just because it was there, because she wanted to be cool for Natter.
So Joe, I'm moving in with him. I would have nowhere to escape to. Like at least here I feel like, and yeah, I do feel bad. Like it's just been constant. Like I wish you guys, I've been like silently suffering through this like extreme stress.
You know what, Chantal? Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. I've been silently suffering. No, the real victims are the ones who suffer in silence, not fake, phony victims like you. They are the ones suffering in silence, hiding their tears, hiding in their bedrooms, afraid, on edge, anxious all the time. They are the ones suffering because they're in fear all the time. Those are the ones suffering. You could have cut your suffering off if you did suffer, stayed away from him. A lot of real victims, they don't get those choices. They literally feel pinned down, not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go. And they have no one, no families, no friends. They have nowhere to get away, no money to get there. Those are the people that are really suffering, not phony victims like you.
I'm just like, I gotta push you on him so much. So I just wanted to make it work with.
And for someone who's silently suffering, you are talking. Silently suffering means you don't talk about it. You have no one to talk to. You're keeping it all in, but you're not being silent right now. You're talking. So how are you silently suffering? Hours and hours of live streams, triggering people. And I was there during that time. People were being triggered and talking about their experiences in your chat, which led to people in your comments talking about their experiences and saying they were being triggered on your channel, which also led to people relating their experiences in other people's chats and comments. It was just all over the place. And yet, after seeing all of that, it didn't stop you. You never stopped to pause and think about what you were saying and how it was affecting other people. As a matter of fact, the more it triggered people and the more money you made, the more you kept it up. And why would an actual victim of DV or SA do that if you've actually been through it? Knowing how horrible it is and how horrible it is to relive that stuff in your head, how it affects you emotionally. If it affects you on a personal level, why would you go out of your way to affect other people that way? Unless you were a fake victim and all you're thinking about is the money, which you were, because the whole deviant essay conversation happened multiple times on your channel. For that reason, you figured out that triggering people equals profit. It was never about you seeking justice against Natter for supposed wrongs. It was about, I just want to make money and buy my next Nashi and French fries. You didn't care the cost that came from triggering people. Because as far as you're concerned, out of sight, out of mind, those people are not in your life. They don't matter. A real victim would never willingly, eagerly, and knowingly trigger others talking about trauma. That's what you did.
With him, like I couldn't leave him. You know, even now I feel like I'll be depressed, but
I don't think that her and Natter had a trauma bond. It was more of a drama bond because she loved the drama.
Like it's incredibly. You have no kids, no house. It's true. It's true. It's a lot easier for me too than it is for a lot of people. I realize that. Move away from your city, yeah. Oh, when I think of all the stress I've gone through and like negative shit, how would you like us to react if you change your mind and go back to him? Oh fuck, I don't know. She won't go back. I can't. No, the bruises on my body were not like. We've had like rough sex and stuff, but when I say it was just that one really bad fight, we agreed like, oh, we weren't gonna do.
Yeah, she claimed that Natter flicked a cigarette at her, right? And I would think that if somebody flicked a cigarette at you, more than likely there's going to be a cigarette burn. So never showed us the burn. So maybe it was a lie.
Do it together, and I thought he would like change, you know. Like I'm classic too. I thought he would change, and
What gave you that idea?
I know Java. He has a platform. I can't because that's what I mean. Like I was like, he has a good side too.
Right. Sure.
He uses that. Everyone has a good side, but that he wrecked my life for months, probably. Like I'm gonna need.
You know, she liked to yell and scream that Natter used her. But let's be clear, they used each other in different ways. Natter used her for money. That's true. He used her to get the rent paid, get the bills paid, buy the groceries, pay for the phone bill, all that jazz. But let's look at the other side of that picture. Chantal used him too. She used his presence and his name as content for her channel, for her story times. She used Natter and she made a lot of money using Natter. A lot of money. Like one paycheck one year was like $20,000, $30,000. So it wasn't him using her only. They used each other. They kept that back and forth going to keep using each other. As a matter of fact, Chantal offered Natter $2,000 a month to keep using him, and he turned it down.
Need therapy for sure, because this is like I said. After a little bit of time being with him, I'm like rejecting it. Like I need to go. Like at 5:30, I'm like, Kate, we need to go. Put your clothes on. He was like, I want to make breakfast. Like stalling on. I'm like, no, let's go right the fuck now. He's like, what are you gonna do? What are you up to? He got so mad at me. He didn't want me to help Pete's mom. He's like, you pick Pete's, or because I was gonna be a few hours. You didn't tell me you were gonna be that long. Why are you helping Pete and his mom? There's something weird going on there. Like, just like anytime I want to help anybody other than him, he gets mad.
Yeah, because Natter was the sugar baby. Before Natter, there was Pete's, and Pete's was her roommate. Pete's wasn't working. Chantal was basically fronting all the expenses for her and Pete's. So Natter did not like Pete's being around because, in Natter's eyes, she's supporting Pete's, and money is being funneled to take care of Pete's that could possibly go to him. But at the same time, Chantal wasn't getting rid of Pete's because A, his name is on the lease, not hers. And also, she liked the feeling of two men fighting over her. She would go to Pete's and tell him awful things about Natter, make Pete's all kinds of angry at Natter, then go over to Natter's place, tell Natter all kinds of trash about Pete's because she liked two men fighting over her. Triangulation.
That's how I feel. I tested him. I made an account. Put like a fake cute picture of a girl. Made like a pretty convincing account. Said I was from like.
I can't imagine being this woman. And even though this man is abusive, you're still jealous and you're testing him to see if he's talking to other women. If he's abusive, why wouldn't you want him talking to other women? Let somebody else deal with him if he's being so awful to you. Not that I'd want anybody else to be abused, but still, it's weird behavior to me. This abusive, volatile person who's so awful, and yet you're going to test them by making a fake profile with a fake picture to see if they're talking to somebody else.
Got to know, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, I want to hook up. And he said, I have a girlfriend. So that made me feel like, oh, like little things like that. He asked if I wanted to. He would ask like things like, want to do porn or like, want to do like threesome or. Anyway. But I'm a bit worried. Because he's like,
Okay, I'm just going to throw out a theory here. Just a theory. I can't prove it. I think to cast a wider net of men that would accept her the way she was. When Chantal was making profiles in these different single sites, did she put herself across as an anything goes kind of gal? Natter has very out there, unusual sexual tastes. He's into group situations and multiple partner situations. Chantal does not like multiple partner situations, especially like two women and a man. She wants all the attention on her. That's just what she likes. But I think maybe she put across to Natter, yeah, I'm an anything goes kind of gal. I'm down for anything. And maybe that's what got her and Natter talking in the first place. But then when he approached her saying he wanted to do multiple partners, she's backing away and kind of taking back the whole anything goes persona. Still trying to make it work, even though he's putting it out there like what he likes. She wanted to get close to him. And now that they're talking, she feels like she can find a workaround somewhere.
2 months right behind or something. Did you know he's friend requesting females that interact with you on IG? Really? No. No, Volpe. I'm not going to. I don't want to contact the police. I guess I just wasn't over it, and like every time I try to play happy, it just gets to me after a few days. Like I'm disgusted. Block, number restraining order, change locks. Inconsistent therapy, look after you. I feel like I need to move. Yeah, Vivian. doesn't sleep more than like 2 hours or 3 hours, and I'm just...
She's saying that, oh, I need to move, but she's not saying that in a scared tone of voice. So if you're not scared of Natter, why would you have to move? That doesn't even make sense.
Just like never sits down, just always singing in Arabic, playing loud Arabic music, or coughing, or just like, or smoking. I'm actually a bit worried. She's gonna be really mad.
Yeah, so for those who are wondering why the words on the screen right now, paperclip, 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 that's another moment that happened on another live stream where Chantal was trying to tell her viewers that she was scared for her safety, even though Natter, the money that he gets from Chantal. He doesn't have a car. He can't drive. She kept saying, oh, I might have to install security cameras and I need a safe word. Saying this on live stream. And her and her viewers came up with a word, paper clips. That was supposed to be her safe word. By the way, the safe word term comes from BDSM. But she used the term safe word. Now, if you have a safe word, why would you air that on live stream when you know that your attacker or abuser can hear it? That makes no sense to me. So that's what that means, the paperclip thing, where that comes from.
I want to block the number because if he calls me like over and over and over, it's going to give me anxiety.
And yet, that was another game of control that she played with Natter. She paid the phone bill so that she would always have access to Natter, but then she would play little mind games, control games, where she would cut off the phone and turn it back on, cut off the phone and turn it back on. She did it so much, the phone company, they flipped out and they're like, what is going on here? And she had to talk to somebody to get the phone turned back on. Likewise, when it came to his channel, there were times that he made her angry and she would delete his live streams and really send him into a rage. So they were always playing little mind games, control games with each other. Does this sound like the behavior of somebody who's a victim? That you will go out of your way to make your abuser angry and you provoke their anger, knowing where it might lead, supposedly?
Oh, no, I feel bad for talking about it. Like, I just feel some anxiety because I feel like I don't want to make somebody who's prone to be angry. Like, I don't want to push them to the edge and, like, totally fuck them over. So, I want to give him an opportunity to get, like, his own phone and stuff. Grab my face, like, really hard. Anyone ever do that to you? It's really going to sink in. I think, like Jabba said, and I'm going to loathe myself and him for doing it. I just want to be okay for my grandmother. For myself, my family, but I was crying after he grabbed my face. Like, yeah, you like that? And then he like, I felt like just like he hit me in my face like so hard that I just like, I like fell back and like I saw like stars or something. And then after.
And Meandering Thoughts says, and you went back after that instead of running to the police or at least out of there? I would have run out of there and called 911 and sent that sucker to jail. But she went back. And something of note, Chantal is very, very light-skinned. And she's claiming that Natter hit her in the face so hard that she saw stars. She's got very, very pale skin. I never saw a bruise on her face. Never saw her have a black eye. Not that I wanted to, but I'm just saying, like, any kind of force to her face would have left a bruise. Yes or no? Never saw a bruise. So how did he manage to hit her face and no visible bruise to speak of? She bruises easy. It would have shown up.
Or like he hit me on the arm a bunch of times, like punched me in the arm. Like I felt like I was like crying, and then I felt like blood. And he's like, no, you had a nosebleed before that. Maybe from like the coke, I don't know.
Yeah, she's talking about her nosebleeds. Something else of note. So it was really weird, but for like a week or two, when she started seeing Natter, she started getting these weird nosebleeds just out of nowhere without being around Natter. Her nose would just start bleeding. I don't know exactly the cause. It could be because she was doing the Coca-Cola. Can't say for sure, but it went on for like a week or two and then it stopped. So she's saying that she had a nosebleed with Natter, but she had nosebleeds even when Natter wasn't around.
I had sex with him after that. I think he spit on me.
How could you do that? Someone who's been violent to you're going to have intimate relations with them afterwards? How?
Yeah. It was just like all night, like when he was in my face screaming, I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't even know what I did. Like he never even apologized to me. I didn't even do anything. He's like, blamed it on me, like you did this, like what, I don't like it, so that means when you do it. And I was like, please stop. And he wouldn't listen to me. Like he like hit my phone. I like snuck out.
She's sitting here telling these stories. Do y'all see what's missing here? Where are the tears? Like, all of this stuff is very distressing to hear. Even for those people in my audience that you might have gone through something similar to this. She's sitting here telling these stories, things that have happened. If it really happened, she'd be reliving the memory in her head at the same time. Where are the tears? Shouldn't this be upsetting? Why isn't she showing that sadness on the outside?
Left everything there. No underwear, no bra. I was in my like friggin' lingerie with no phone. I came home. And I had to fucking sneak out.
I don't believe that. Again, I don't believe that Nana would stop her from leaving. I think maybe the truer story is that he wanted her to go and she did not want to go. And that's where all of this upset is coming from, because she's clingy, she's insecure, she's very jealous. Unless she's sitting next to you on the couch, she doesn't know what you're up to. That stresses her out. So if she's near a guy that she likes and he tells her to go home, or he tells her he needs his personal space, she doesn't handle that very well. So she's got to reframe it and re-edit it as, he didn't want me to go home, when it's actually backwards. He wanted me to go home and I didn't want to go. Like she's just a brat that did not get her way and she's mad about it.
And he just like acted like nothing happened. Like I went over the next day and he was like singing in the kitchen and I was like, wait.
And Meandering says, are you freaking stupid? He basically held you blank at his house and abused you, and you go back the next day, right? Hello. I wouldn't have gone back. I would have been, no thank you, no ma'am, no sir. We're done. Block your number, block your name from my memory. Don't want nothing to do with you. So all this stuff happened. And she went back when she didn't have to, because they don't live together. She went back again and again and again and again. And after the allegations, after she put those out there and she threatened him with those things. There was one live stream she did where she was driving back. She's in like the New York area or something. And she said that after the allegations, she drove over to his house with a care package of green and party favors and expected to be let in. Imagine that. Sneaking off with him in motel rooms. Missed me with those abuse allegations, Chantal.
Like, are you not gonna like apologize? He was like, basically gave me shit for like 2 fucking hours. And, oh my god, every time we have a fight, it's like torture. Pretty much him like just berating me, like pacing around, berating me. You know I don't like this. So I assume if you do it, you're doing it on purpose to make me mad. And I told you not to make me mad. Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to contact the cops.
Yeah, because she knows if she really does that, if she really goes that far, she takes that final step and she crosses that red line, it's over. And she's never wanted to cross that red line. Her and Nat are both. They could easily go after each other, even to this day, and they still don't. Because they want to maintain just enough contact to where she's got someone to talk to and he can go to her and get some groceries or money. So they won't cross that red line.
What are they gonna do? I just want to like move on.
And if you're someone and you're a victim of abuse, for real, and you gather the courage to report it because you deserve justice, you will cross that red line. You won't think about maintaining contact with the person who hurt you. You'll cross the red line because you'll know it's over and you want it to be over. But the problem with Chantal is that she doesn't want it to be over completely with her and Natter.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to like, I don't know if I have the mental energy for like a legal battle. Ugh. He's very smart. How smart he is actually scares me. I've never ever met somebody like him. Sorry. The word stabby use, I know, makes me laugh actually. I know it's fucked up, but I keep believing that he loves me and wants to change and everything, you know.
I don't know where she's getting this idea that she can change a person when she can't even change herself. I mean, she could change herself. She just doesn't want to. But I don't know where she's getting this idea that she can just completely make over another human being and treat them like a Barbie doll and dress them up and make them into exactly what she wants. Even if she could, she doesn't know what she wants. She's had the nice guys with the jobs and will treat her okay, and she wasn't happy with them. And then there was Natter, and he was volatile and hot-headed and a lot like her. She didn't like that either. So I don't think she knows what she wants. She just gets bored, and she wants a new thrill of the week. So she latches on to whoever will give her 5 minutes of attention. But like I said, if bad boys are bad boys for a reason, okay? They can be toxic, they can be hurtful, they can break your heart. They are heartbreakers and thrill seekers and love takers. And once they are set on that path, you just got to leave them alone. Because they will take your heart in their hand and crush it. And the only one that can change a bad boy is the bad boy themselves. Same thing with women, okay? If you are a run around, play around, that's what you like to do, ain't nobody going to change you but you. But yet she feels she can change people. She can fix people. She can make them better. She can turn them all the way around. No.
Because, like I said, everybody has a good side too, but these are raw pistachios. You guys ever have those?
You know, and in my past, that was my problem. You know, that was my problem, believing that there's good in everyone. There's good in a lot of people. And sometimes life experiences, environment, they bury the good in people. They push it all the way down. But I've also come to realize that some people are they're just born bad. They're just bad people, and there's no fixing that. They're just rotten fruit that'll never ever be good to eat. And you just have to leave it alone. And even if you find a bad person, it's up to them to change themselves. It's not your job. The only one you can fix is yourself. And she's plenty broken. She should be focused on her, no one else. There's a lot of work to do there. A lot of work. A lot of work. So trying to build a boyfriend just doesn't work, Chantal.
Just look at the comments he likes on his channel. I gave him shit about that. He's like, I'm just playing with them. Like Gabby Petito. Actually, her story really
So he scammed her out of lots of money. They had their fights. What did she do? Knowing he's an abusive person in certain ways, she brings him to YouTube and exposes him to more women, which then he turned around. He scammed some of the women in his audience with his old sob stories. So good job, Chantal. Good job spreading the hurt around.
When the cop pulled her over and she was crying, that's like, I'm not comparing cases, but that's how
Wait, this part right here. Let me go back. Sorry. I talked over it.
I gave him shit about that. He's like, I'm just playing with them. Like Gabby Petito. Actually, her story really when the cop pulled her over and she was crying, that's like, I'm not comparing cases, but that's how I was crying when I got in the accident.
I think Chantal takes other people's trauma and other people's stories and uses those stories and experiences of others to create stories for herself, to paint herself the victim. Example, her grandmother had sciatica. Suddenly she's got sciatica. Oh, I've got sciatica pain, but she's never really experienced it to know what it feels like. Hence why we can tell she's a fake. And then working at the battered women's shelter, hearing their stories. Years later, she gets on YouTube and claims to be a victim of DV and SA. So she's always looking around for different topics of conversation that she can turn into content for a channel. And in every single one of those stories, either as a narcissist, you're either the victim or the hero or both simultaneously. So I'm not comparing stories here, but yet you are. And you're trying to take somebody else's experience and make it your own.
And I was just like, you can't stop crying because you're just so like emotionally like shocked. I know he's gonna be so mad. And like he doesn't understand. Like he's like, you told people you need a safe word for me? Are you serious? Like, I was so distraught. I get like that when I'm around him, so distraught. He's gonna be really mad at me. But that's another thing, like the jealousy about Pete's. Like I can't. No. He'll be plotting payback. Yeah.
I don't think Nada was ever jealous of Pete physically. I think him just being a greedy fool. He didn't like the idea of being a sugar baby and Chantal spending more of her money on another man that wasn't him. So it wasn't a fight of there are two men that want the affections of one woman and the attention of one woman. It's a fight over money. And one man feeling like the other man is taking money out of his pocket when it wasn't in his pocket to begin with. It's hers.
Maybe I shouldn't take an edible. I should be alert. Yeah, I'm not going to take the edible. In the drawer it goes. No. I paid every time. Oh, yeah, you take my phone away and let me leave. Yep. Stabbed on a whim. I won't. I'll be okay. Yeah, but donut hole, if he wants to do something, he will. That's what's scary. Like, he's...
Yeah, so I guess she was telling her viewers she needs a safe word, paper clips. Let me tell you something. If you're someone, you've been through something like DV, and you're afraid of somebody coming after you, why would you tell your safe word on a public live stream where the person you're afraid of can see it and hear it? That's number one. Number two, if you felt afraid in your own home, wouldn't you be getting out of there as quickly as possible and going somewhere where the other person couldn't find you, at least for a while? But she's not doing that. She's sitting perfectly still.
Yeah, that's right, Scary Ella. I did try to walk that one back, yeah. Like, kind of like damage control, because my family hates him. You guys hate him.
Gee, I wonder why we hate him. If you had told us nothing about him, we did not know his name, if you didn't come on YouTube with all these details about this alleged abuse, why would we hate him? We wouldn't even know him. We're getting this impression of him through you. You're telling people all these horrible things about him. What are we supposed to think? These things going to come out of your mouth. You're using him for content. You're painting a negative picture of him. So what are we supposed to think? What are the thoughts are we supposed to have? You're influencing the thoughts based on your comments.
And you make me feel guilty about that. Like, it's because of you. Like, you, that they talk about me. You ruined my fucking life. You fucked me
And
over.
another thought I want to put in here, I think Chantal, as a means of further control, it wasn't enough that she made him a channel and she controlled the channel. It wasn't enough that she made the content and she filmed the content and she made the thumbnails. It wasn't enough that she gave him the money and she paid his bills and paid his rent, paid the everything. Her coming on live stream and painting this abusive picture of him, that's another form of control. Because by painting this picture of Natter, in my opinion, in a way, she was trying to deter other women from wanting to be with Natter. Like, he's a really bad guy. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. And also making sure that his channel didn't blow up. Making sure he wasn't independent of her. So all of these stories of supposed trauma, it's evil, toxic manipulation, in my opinion. It's not a real victim getting online and sharing things with people. It's someone wanting to control another person and going to extreme lengths to do so.
Or worse than, like, Delphine or whatever. I'm just like... He really hurt me. I don't think he realizes that. In 24 hours, you'd say we all misunderstand him again. No, wow, Lily. because how am I gonna go back? Like, after all this, like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna hate my guts too. Well, with zombie, that's the thing. The more he treats me like that, the more I get disgusted. I do. After today, this morning, when he woke up and I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get sleep again. And he's going to be on all day, like talking about his channel and wanting me to edit for him and not giving me any breathing room and just singing.
And yet, you set things in motion to where he depended on you for the content. You introduced him to YouTube. You set it up to where you do the videos, you film the videos, you do the thumbnails. If you wanted some breathing room, why didn't you help making him independent by teaching him how to do his own thumbnails, by showing him how to film, just making it to where he could do everything himself? You could have done that and gotten some breathing room, but you didn't want the breathing room. You wanted him codependent on you. And then you have the nerve to complain, oh, I don't have any breathing room. You don't want any breathing room. You want to be able to say that he needs me. Without me, he'd be nothing.
In Arabic all day and just coughing, and I'm just like, if he hadn't treated you the way that he did, you wouldn't have felt like you did by his coughing and singing and stuff. You're so right. I bet you it's true. If I don't see him for like 2 days, I haven't slept, I haven't eaten. Like, he gets so mad about how he is, like.
Okay, there might be some more to this, but she's starting to get into the eating stuff. You guys know how I feel about it, so we'll just cut it off here. But this is Chantal being a liar, a fake phony victim. You know how disgusted I am with that. So for anybody who might be a VIB, Chantal's channel, you want to see how much of a liar this woman is? You just saw it. Whenever she gets on her channel and talks about, oh, the things that happened to me, it's a lie. As an actual victim of deviant SA, she's a liar. She's an absolute liar. She's so desperate to be a victim that she will claim horrible things that happened to her that never happened, to the point where she'll exaggerate the claims. And just so we're clear, for anybody who might forget, we're going to play this one more time. One more freaking time. And we're going to end this. Going back to Queen of WTF's video, I'm just going to leave everybody with this thought from Chantal, from her own mouth, her own words.
But I exaggerated it. I did. I exaggerated it. I did. I didn't lie about things that like allegations I said. We did have a very toxic relationship. A lot of things were abusive. I'm not going to deny that. I told him right out.
You know what? You should have stopped at the first part. I exaggerated the claims. Real victims don't exaggerate. The truth is all they need. And fuck you for being a fake victim, Chantal, and re-traumatizing people and monetizing their pain and their scars more than once. Fuck you. From a real one to a fake one, fuck you. Now, with that said, I'm out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to end it here and post it to my channel. And y'all have a very good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later. Bye.